I don't think you can really appreciate Shohei unless you see it every day.
Yes.
Like his routine is insane. Like when he's doing both, when he's not hurt pitching, like his day is crazy. And for him to be able to shoulder that load and be the best player in baseball I don't think we'll ever see it in our lifetime again.
Think so.
Because to go into the field, be a pitcher for the first 3 hours where you're going through your shoulder stuff, then you go get your lift in or throw your bullpen, and then flip it, go have some lunch, and then go be a hitter later that night. Like get your BP in, come in, prepare for the game, and then go out there and hit, have 4 at-bats. It's like, it's a full day every day, and he does it perfectly.
At the highest level.
At the highest of highs. Let's not nickname it. Like he goes out there and he performs at the highest of highest levels every night.
We all got to go out to Trout's place during a time to basically tour the golf course while it was all getting built, and it was bad. Dude, Tiger was out there. He was giving Mike the tour, and they were explaining to everybody like what was, behind each hole and the thought of, creating the hole and all that stuff. So that was one of the coolest experiences for me because I'm not even that much of a golfer, but I mean, I love golf, just can't play it. You guys all can play.
Yeah, going up, speaking of like the tour, like I want to ask you what it was like going up and hitting shots in front of Tiger, dude. Like how incredible was that? Just standing next to him and like, I didn't hit any shots, but he was right over there. I'm like, whew, thank God they didn't have any left clubs.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I was super nervous.
Yeah.
Super nervous. So, like, nobody brought their sticks. So you're just grabbing a club you've never grabbed before. And there's no glove. It's like, what was it, August?
Oh, dude, it's so hot.
August, it's hot, sweating. Like, I'm just trying to throw the club down the fairway. Mm-hmm. And then I pick this thing up and I kind of like lean on it for a second, and it's like a whippy shaft. I know it's going right.
Yeah. You put that in your head.
Yeah, right? I had already put it in my head. So I'm like, don't swing hard at it. Just gonna, dude, this thing starts out straight. I'm like, oh, I striped it, and then just starts going. And I'm like, all right, let's see what he says. So I give the club back. I walk back by. He's like, it's not a bad swing. I was like, that's all I was hoping for.
That's like, a small win.
Yeah, just a little fist pump. Yeah.
Dude, and then you got dunked on by Zach LaVine the same trip, dude, all on the same trip.
Wait.
Not dunked on. Not dunked on. He crossed you up a little bit, though,
He did
dude.
cross me up. Yeah. I didn't know I could body him so much. So like I get the ball and he steps up on me. He's just kind of like, give me some of this.
It got real in
and I'm
there.
like, hey, I was like, that's a foul. He's like, nah, not in the NBA. That's not a foul. And I was like, all right, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So I finally get a little bit of space. You know how tall Zach is.
Yeah.
Put one up. He just grabs it out of the air. I was like, all right, we're done.
But you were playing the game, is like only one dribble or two dribbles?
No, I think you get like 4, maybe 5 dribbles.
Okay, yeah.
But it's impossible.
You can't go anywhere.
It takes me 3 to get around him.
Yeah.
Because of how long he is.
So this trip, badass. Imagine this. This is amazing. So all these athletes all come out. We're checking out Trout National. We all stay in Trout's, was it this basement or guest house? I mean,
one of the wings.
Naturally, Trout's got a big spot. So you got, first of all, Zach LaVine the first night at like 11:30 midnight. We all got in late. He's in the gym working out, getting his working on his basketball stuff, getting his craft in. Then it goes from Zach LaVine playing J-Up one-on-one. Then it goes from the little cage, Weavers throwing a live BP to Zach LaVine.
Yep.
Then Zach's fishing with Trout. He did everything, by the way. But, I mean, it was one of the coolest trips, man, I've ever been a part of. We were playing cards that night. Next morning, get up, toured the golf course and stuff. And that was a memorable trip for me, for sure. But, hey, you the one-on-one, man, that was great because LaVine's a beast.
Yeah, he's a monster.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So, J-Up, you were like the first guy, man, that I feel like the first Baseball America I picked up. I read about J-Up. I read about you and your brother. I mean, you were highly coveted from a young age, man. Out in Virginia, you guys were, on top of that amateur baseball world. So just pressure from day one, man. We want to pick your brain, obviously, what you were going through on and off the field, but just tell us what that was like because, I mean, 1-1, being highly coveted, not many people can relate to that at such a young age like you did.
You know, I think the amateur part was easy for me. And I kind of had the playbook already. My brother's 3 years older.
Yeah.
He hit all the stops. You know, my parents learned from his process also. So it was like, you know, go to this tournament. You don't have to play this one. Like, I kind of picked my spots, playing on the national stage.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think a lot of that was being able to see him do it first. The tough part for me was, like you said, 1-1. And then going to your first camp, my first camp, my first 2 weeks, I was with the big league team. So I was in big league camp. You got salties, dude. Like, you know, it was like salties, like older guys.
High school. This isn't a college kid. This is at high school.
Yeah.
For what people don't understand, like getting to big league camp is a huge deal for any minor league player.
Yeah.
And for you to get there that early is unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was in my contract. I had to go.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I had to.
Sick, dude.
So I had to go.
I
had to go my first. Like, they sent me down basically as soon as we started games.
Right.
But like, I trained with them before they started games and everything. And like, just walking in that clubhouse, there's dudes with, you know, 8-10 years in the big leagues, and I'm walking in out of high school like super nervous.
Yeah.
And then I had a position change that first spring, so I was shortstop all the way until I hurt my shoulder like 2 weeks left in camp, and they asked me if I wanted to go to the outfield. So now, not only have I played shortstop my whole life, but now they asked me to play center field.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was down rehabbing on the minor league side, and they were like, "Hey man, you know, we're kind of, you know, we want some, you know, more outfielders in the organization, and we feel like you can play center field, and I think it'll fast track you." And being 18 years old, I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna fast track me? Cool, I'll do it."
Yeah.
When I look back on it, I'm like, I wish I would have gave myself an opportunity to play shortstop or third base at the pro level. Probably may have gotten switched at some point, but you know, I don't know because I never tried. But moved to center field. And I learned it on the fly. You know, as soon as my whole shoulder's healthy enough, I start training in the outfield, go to A-ball and play center field, which was super weird. Never been in the outfield. So, I think minor leagues was a bit of a learning curve for me, but
do you feel like the organization at that point, are you trying to take pressure off a young kid at 19, 1-1 by that position switch? Is that like, we're going to try and switch his focus? Because I feel like that can go both ways. That could be an overload, but at the same time, it could be a good balance and get you kind of off the wrong stuff and just focus more on baseball instead of like the pressures of being one.
Yeah, I've been to some of those conversations when they're looking at changing a position for a guy, and they're just saying, okay, is the guy athletic enough to do it? And then number two, they're kind of projecting. They're saying, okay, who's in front of this guy at shortstop? Sometimes it is fast track. Sometimes it does take pressure off. Sometimes they're going to get ahead of it. They're like, oh, he's probably going to change positions later in his career. Let's start now. But yeah, you never know. But it's interesting.
Is there any discussion of that leading up to the draft, that there may be a position change?
No, but Stephen Drew was drafted the year before.
Yeah.
I think it was the year before, a year or a couple of years, whatever. But Stephen got drafted the year before, and he was like fast track, going to be their shortstop probably at the end of that season. Well, at the end of 06 or 07. He was going to start the year up there. So it was like, do we switch him to another infield position? You already had Mark Reynolds, he was going to Double-A that year, higher Double-A. So like, you had guys at those positions that were already climbing the ladder, and they were like, where are we going to put him?
Right.
I mean, and our outfield was stacked too. So there was really nowhere to put me. I was basically, at that point, I was a shortstop / athlete, you know? So it was, you know, top 5 athlete in the organization with no position, because we just drafted guys at those positions. So it's kind of stuck when I look back on it. And, you know, you had Scott Hairston, Chris Young, Carlos Quentin, all these guys in outfield. The move was probably not the best for me, realistically.
Loaded, man. Yeah, you're going through that list.
Yeah.
Stephen Drew was one of the best college baseball players, of all time. Dude.
Yeah.
His seasons at FSU were incredible.
Yeah.
I talk about the effect of me getting to the big leagues and how nervous I was at 27. You get there at 19.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be incredible.
Well, Well, my first start, I dropped 2 balls in the outfield. Dude. So
Transition's going great.
Everything's fine. Nobody panic. It's gonna
Everything's fine.
no, the craziest part is I played, a full season in South Bend center field. I play a month in high A center field in Visalia. Get called up to double A, play every game for the next 3.5 months in center field, and never play a day in right field. My first start was in right field.
Nice.
Of course it was.
So I'm like, come on, dude. I've never seen a ball from right field.
Yeah.
And I get called up because I believe Carlos Quentin gets hurt and he was playing right field.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that was just where they threw me. So like, first start, Dodger Stadium, right field, everybody's yelling at me. You're an LA guy.
Yep.
You know how the fans in the outfield get.
Yeah, they're
And
very kind.
I'm freaking out, heart's pounding.
Yep.
Ball goes up, perfectly under it, clank.
No.
Yeah, get worn out. So I'm thinking about that for a few innings. Same thing happens again. It's like, it all just piles up.
Yeah,
But
but that's one thing that, again, people don't really realize is like, yeah, position change is one thing. You think you should be able to, major league player, you should be able to, transfer to right field, no problems. Well, the way the balls are hit off the bat, the way they tail or, come back, it's completely different. I remember my transition from third base to second base, and like just even ground balls off the bat, the way they come, the way the angle of the bat, it's completely different. So to just get thrown out there in right field is wild.
And then after that, dude, the first one after it does clank, like talk about mentally, that puts you in a tough spot, man. Like
Yeah.
you become, we call it, baseball guys say, I'm domed up. Yep. Because it is so hard, especially throughout the rest of that game, to flush that out. So honestly, man, like it's never, as a competitor, you're never like, don't hit the ball to me. But at the same time, it's like, dude, if this ball comes at me, we need to figure out what the hell we're gonna do.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, you really do get there.
How did you flush that? Like that?
I didn't. I missed the next one. I missed the next one.
We need to hit a homer. That's the only way we can maybe
Like-
semi-flush it.
Like,
Oh,
I
man.
didn't flush it. I'm like, God, in the outfield, the fans are not letting me flush it.
Right.
Like, they're like, you're going to miss the next one too. And I'm like, you're probably right. Like, I'm 19. I'm like, you're probably right. I've never been out here. This is my first, and you would know, like, you go in these stadiums, you got like, in the minor leagues, you got like a couple grandstand, like every ball you see in the sky.
Oh, yeah.
And then the ball's taking off and it's still in the stadium seats. Like, the wind blows different in there. Like, I was beat.
The third deck,
That
man.
third
Yeah.
deck.
The best you've done is shag some balls off the bat and BP, and you're
Aim
just
like nothing like it.
You have zero trust. You have zero trust in your abilities at that point.
Dude, my first time in interleague in 12, I had to go out there because Billy Butler, he was going to first base. He was our DH. So interleague happens. We go to Pittsburgh. Of course, like 2 games before, Ned comes up to me.
Yep.
You ever played outfield? Nope. Okay, well, you're playing right field in Pittsburgh first. I think it was like a Saturday, and this is Thursday. So same thing. I'm getting some live BP out there. I'm out there in game action. Fans are wearing you out. I mean, you feel like the infield, you're a part of the action. You cannot not pay attention. The outfield, it's easy to get lost out there. So first fly ball, same thing, man. You really can't tell because the fly ball is still in the stands. So I sprint back 2-3 steps.
I remember this.
Then I realized, then the ball gets to the sky, and I'm like, man, that ball's way in. So I start running in, bases loaded, ball bounces. I get it on one hop, cannon to home plate, which I wish they had StatCast because that son of a bitch was about 98, 99
At least, bro.
coming out, dude. One hop right to Brian Pena, and he dropped it. And it would have been a force out, but I'm pretty sure it was E9, dude, and it was a
knock.
disaster, dude.
You didn't touch it, it's a knock.
I want to know. Yeah, I
Rule
wanna
of thumb
know
is
part.
outfitter. If you don't touch it, it's a knock.
Dude.
We were actually talking about that earlier. How we always say like hitting is very difficult. 3 out of 10, you're successful. 3 out of 10, you're successful, or one of the best. But talk about what your coach was saying about defense and having to be perfect, essentially.
Yeah, baseball, everyone always talks about hitting, and baseball is a failure sport, like 3 out of 10, the whole thing. You fail 7 out of 10 times, whatever. But Bobby Dickerson, the infield coach I always tell you about, who I love this guy. I think he's one of the smartest baseball brains in the game. He says defensively, baseball, it's the opposite. You got to be perfect, man. And think about infield, like a fielding percentage, 980, whatever that is. I mean, you got to be perfect 98% of the time, whatever that number. Yep. I hope that math translates, but you got to be perfect, especially with, routine play. You got to be consistent. That consistency is huge. And I think that's on the defensive side. That's what it is.
Don't make an error early, because the whole rest of the game, you're just thinking about, oh man, I made one. I'm definitely making at least 2 more because I can't catch the ball today. You're just sitting there like, all right. And there's and everybody goes through it. You're sitting there, and for me, it was third base. I'm sitting there at third base. I'm like, all right, please don't hit me the ball, because I don't know what could happen. And then the other thing about defense too is it's not just you. It's everybody else is standing out there. Your pitcher's on the mound battling, and you just airmail the ball over first base, and everyone's just running around and. You feel bad because you made an error, but then you're like, everybody just doesn't like me right now. And
it's awkward.
The worst part about baseball too is after you make that error, there's so much time in between plays. There's so much downtime in baseball. Like football, the next play's happening in 30 seconds. In basketball, you just run back down the court and play defense. You're standing there most of the game. And once the brain gets going,
it's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
You have in between every pitch to think about, and even when you sit down on the bench and you're not hitting, you have so much time to think about the mistakes you make.
Yeah, and in the pitcher, you feel like this guy cost him an error. You got to wait 5 days before you can help him out again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always one pitcher on every staff where I would just play terrible on defense. And it's like, dude, I don't mean to do this, bro. I'm trying my best.
I'm sorry.
As a pitcher, what's it like? Like when you see someone clank or airmail a ball, what?
Look, he's Moose clearly has something.
No. It's obviously there's frustration, but at the same time, I would take that as a pride upon myself to be able to pick him up and say, you know what, don't worry about it, I got you. And hopefully it doesn't lead to a run, or hopefully it doesn't lead to a loss. And then he can forget about it easier, whoever it is can forget about it easier than if it results in a couple of runs and you end up losing the game. So my job was to try and help them flush it as a defensive player to do my job and pick them up.
That goes a long way, dude. Because even if for an older player, I mean, if the pitcher, if nothing is said, you feel that, you feel that animosity. Even if there's not, it's awkward tension. So to do that right away is awesome.
And when Morlo was pitching, I make an error. He's like, it's all right, Moose. You get this next one. It's coming right at you. I'm like, no. The
ball will find you.
What's coming? I don't want it.
You remember, baby. Hey, you remember.
The ball will find you, though, right? A lot of the time, you run away. You get a position change. You go out to right field. You know the ball's going to come out there and find you at some point.
Every single
baseball
time.
Gods, man.
Yes. I feel like, too, for the mental side, for the hurdle, for an older player, it's you can separate defense, offense. For a younger player, at 19 especially, it's everything, dude. So, if I make a mistake on defense as an older player and I go get, a double RBI, I'm like, okay, there we go. I feel like I contributed to the team a little more. Let's go. But as a younger player, I mean, even if you do get that hit and kind of make up for it, there's still that, tension, damn, man, I screwed this up. So mentally, I think that is so hard for a young player, man. Really.
Did you get better at flushing as your career went on?
Yeah, I think it's an establishment thing. Once you establish yourself, that first time coming up, you feel like everything is so magnified. You almost feel like you're earning your stripes, So once you start contributing on a regular basis, the mistakes don't hurt as bad. Yeah. But when you first get up there and you're trying to, earn your stripes.
And the added pressure of being who you were.
Right. And you're trying to contribute, you're trying to earn the respect of your teammates. It makes it harder early on for the young guy. But like he said, once you get established yourself and you're out there every day and guys know you post, the mistakes don't hurt as bad because they know that you're going to come back and show up the next day.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It is. That's a great way to look at it. How about J-Up? Being in a big league clubhouse at 19, getting called up super young, same thing. Was, being around BJ younger and being with that older group of guys, being the younger sibling, did that help you, fit in with that older group? And even on the baseball field, competing wise, did that all play a role in it?
Yeah, I mean, when my brother, not only at the big league level, but through the minor leagues when I was still in high school, when we would go visit, he would always bring me in the clubhouse to hang around the guys.
That's awesome.
And I got a clubhouse feel, a kind of a feel for the clubhouse before I even got drafted. So I was lucky in that sense too, where, I had been around big leaguers. I knew their routines. I knew how they, went about their business before a game, how they prepared. So I got to see all that. So when I got to the clubhouse myself, like, I was by no means like a expert on it, but like I kind of had a clue.
Yeah.
I knew that the veteran guy, there was a hierarchy, there's certain guys you can ask things, there's certain guys that, you can do things around, there's certain guys you can't. So kind of had a feel, but I still had to feel out myself.
Did you feel that hierarchy change across the course of your career? I came up around a similar time as you, and it was always pretty tough to go into that clubhouse because, like you said, you had to earn your stripes and you had to prove yourself before they'd really accept you in.
Right. I think early in my career, there was still that, like, guys were super tough on you.
Yeah.
Like you didn't talk out of turn, all the crazy stuff that went on. And as I became that veteran, I think a lot of guys feel this way that kind of came up like the last generation before, like, social media and like so much media coverage. I think we all kind of transitioned to being tough on guys, but also having understanding that, there's a side to like bringing these guys up too, without beating them down. Because I think guys came up at a later age, so they were more of a, like, men. They were grown up. We came up so young.
Yeah.
So like we got beat down like a 25-year-old, and then we had to harden, but we learned that you don't have to harden these guys that early. Like, the guys are coming up younger, like, coddle them a little bit, but also be tough on them. And I think that's how the hierarchies changed, and maybe we might have been a little too easy on them, but at the same time.
I heard, that's a great way to put it, man. I heard Udonis Haslem, he's a guy I look up to in the Miami area, but he talks about how he changed his leadership style and how the style of the leadership evolved as he was throughout the league. And it was like, if you were a young guy early on, you were like scared to death to say anything. You were scared to death to talk to anybody. You almost like felt like you had to earn your stripes before you actually said anything, which it's not like go in there as a young guy and boom, boom, boom. But he says now, as an older guy, he goes up to that young guy right away and he wants him to feel like he's part of the group. Right. There's still things, that the flow of the locker room, the respect stuff, that'll always be there. But he felt like by him going up to the young guy, making him approachable, making him feel like the group, and at the same time, letting this guy know what he's doing to be productive for the team and what his role is. So then it doesn't give the young guy any question. It doesn't give him that, hey, I didn't know this, and you're not, 2-3 months down to the season. So I do feel like that is a transition. I think that's a great call because it was different when we were coming up for sure.
Yeah, and when we got to that veteran role in the clubhouse, it was like, all right, what's our one focus? Is winning. So how do I get the best out of each and every one of my teammates? It's like, okay, and everyone's different, right? Everyone needs something a little bit different. So maybe, like we talked about, put a little coin in this guy's piggy bank and, help him out a little bit. But if we focus on winning and getting the best out of each player, then they're going to feel comfortable enough to go perform at their highest level, is what I always try to do.
Well, I felt like there was a difference between making somebody grow up in a clubhouse versus on the field. I wanted each guy to feel like we were equal on the field and be able to be yourself and play freely. But in the clubhouse, like that's kind of growing up in life. Like, you're around people every day. You have to learn how to like manage people for 200 plus days and manage different personalities. And I feel like you're tough on them in the clubhouse, but on the field, you want them to just like be themselves, be young, be like energetic, and bring the energy on the field. So there was a balance between like helping them grow up, but also letting them still be a kid on the field.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I mean, kind of going along with that. So Cashy would always say, I was always intrigued by how Kevin Cash manages the clubhouse and so forth. And he has this ease to him making people feel comfortable. And I asked him about that one day. And he goes, it's hard enough to play in the big leagues. It is so hard here. But he goes, if me as the manager am adding stress because you can't sit here, you can't do this. And obviously there are certain rules. The players decide those rules. But he has liked how like the players with the Rays are like, hey, come here, like you said, be yourself so you can be the best version of yourself on the field. Yeah, we'll straighten you up when you kind of deviate a little bit, but that's such a great point, just not being too hard so that it can be free and just go play.
Yeah, because I would say, I don't know how you feel about this, Pete, but I would say early on, maybe not a good team, some veteran guys that are a little salty. Maybe they had it a way coming up when they were young that it was a lot of hard times, hard veterans on them, right? And I think sometimes what I saw was they were doing that same thing with the young guys. It was a lot of hard times. It was a lot of, hey, bring this or do this for me, get this. But then like on the return end of that, on the positive side, there wasn't really that like, hey, let's go to dinner, man, and let me, tell you why I'm doing this. Like love on the guy as well. And you got to understand, hey, listen, man, like these guys, I've always told young guys, when a guy's messing with you, when an older guy is, he probably likes you, man. When he stops messing with you is when you got to worry about stuff. But I've always felt, to sum it all up, that a lot of older guys, man, they would do hard on the younger guys, but they were missing that kind of, that positive side to where connecting with the guy and showing him, hey, man, like it's all good and fun and this is why I'm doing it, that goes a long way.
We talk about how a lot of the best clubs, they don't need managers or front office to police anything. It's done by the players. And a lot of that came from that attitude. Yeah, at times it went too far. You just have these young guys, these first round picks come up and just crumble because they're uncomfortable and they'd want to go back to the minor leagues. My first year in the big leagues, I can remember myself. I would tell myself, I just wish I could make the money I'm making in the big leagues, but be with the boys down in AAA because I felt much more comfortable. And I think a lot of that is gone. I even felt myself change because I got to play over a course of a long period of time, obviously. And at that time, I came up in 06 and I finished in 18. So there was a giant shift in mentality in those clubhouses, which I think has been for the better of the game.
Yeah, I agree. I remember it was so weird. Like when we were in Kansas City, first couple of years, and like we were a losing team, and it's like you're getting off the bus, and it's like, sit down, wait till I get off the bus, and then you get off the bus. And it's like, I remember me and Moose were like, when we're the dudes, we're never gonna do this dumb shit. We're all gonna win, hang out, you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, there's a flow in the clubhouse and in the locker room, how things go, and there's always gonna be stuff younger guys have to respect, but at the end of the day, like when it's off the field, it's like, man, we're human beings, dude. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Just walk off the bus.
Yeah, get off the bus. Like, there's like funny ways to go about like policing that stuff too. There's like, hey, like wait and all that, but like it's just obviously the way you approach that person. I remember we said, I was like, this is stupid, dude. We're not doing this. Like,
how about Jay, for you when you became that older guy? Coming up so young. Who were some of those older guys in Arizona that took you under your wing? So when you became that guy, you kind of had the blueprint.
So I was thinking about that while we were talking about it. I'm like, man, who? And honestly, Tony Clark was there for a quick minute, and Orlando Hudson. I don't know any other way, because they did it so well. Like anytime I got out of the line, they were the first ones. They didn't let anybody else. They were the first ones to come to me and be like, hey, that's not how we do things. But literally every trip, like if their families weren't there, it was, hey, we're going to dinner, meet me down here in 10 minutes. Or, the suit guys here, come up to my room, I'll get you a suit. Like they always made me feel loved like a little brother, but I didn't get away with anything. And that's how I felt like it should be done. But we also had guys in that clubhouse who would just wear you out for no reason, and never do anything about it. So I got a taste of both sides, so I knew which side felt better to a young guy, and that helped me down the road. So now I knew how to handle that situation when I got there.
O-Dog, man, that guy had some serious energy,
dude,
huh?
Yeah, like every single day walking the clubhouse, he was like that.
That's a prime example right there. You just broke it down. So it's like, first day you go to the big leagues, right? None of us I don't think I wore a suit till the day I got to the big leagues because of that. So you get there, of course you don't have a suit, you probably don't have slacks, which was majority of the rules when you get up there. So like older guys are obviously wearing you out about what you're wearing, this is the dress code, that kind of thing. But like O-Dog and like what those guys Tony did for you, it's like, hey man, come with me. We got an off day today, we're gonna go to the mall. We're gonna get you a jacket, we're gonna get you some slacks and this, because you need to look like a professional, dude. When you're on the road, this is how you need to present yourself, this is how you need to look. So it's just little examples like that's the stuff I love to hear.
Dude, we're in spring training. I didn't know that, this was 2006, so I just signed out of the World Baseball Classic. I'm going through big league spring training, I'm flipping back and forth from the minor league side. Then they tell me, hey, you're gonna go up for the exhibition games, but you're gonna have to have a suit or a jacket and a pants. And I'm like, I've just come from Australia. I'm supposed to be here for 2 weeks. I have nothing. So I'm borrowing everything. I've got size 15 shoes on. I'm wearing a green shirt, a black jacket, khaki pants. I look like an absolute clown. So they are giving me more shit than you've ever heard in your life. I'm already nervous, but by that first road trip, we go to New York, we go to Portobello's. I end up with 3 brand new suits. The senior guy, one of the older guys, takes me down, make sure he takes care of me. That was the kind of thing that I really loved about those first couple of years in the big leagues, man. It was so cool.
That's so funny, dude, because you can literally go from AA, your colors are red and white, to AAA being green and white, to the big leagues being completely different. So you get up there and you're like, dude,
What am
I got
wearing?
nothing. Someone's like, hey, buddy, I got you. I got
you.
size sledge. Come
Yeah.
over here. Tony Clark being one of those guys for you, and then now him being on top of the Players Union. I mean, that's got to be crazy, because for me, some of my buddies that are teammates that are GMs, it's nuts, but to be the Players Union guys got to be wild.
Yeah, I mean, well, Tony was much older, but what's crazy, dude? So we had this conversation. You know, CY, Chris Young.
Oh, yeah.
So me and CY had this conversation, and we thought Tony was so old when we were playing with him, but he wasn't that old. He was like in his early 30s when we were playing with him.
50.
But his beard was already gray.
Yeah.
But like you said, like now him being the head of the Players Union, like I saw Tony as just such an older dude, but he wasn't that much older.
Yeah, that
than
makes,
us when
he's
we were
got that
playing.
old man wisdom. and
Yeah,
look
he's
to him.
kind of got the deep voice and
Yeah.
everything. But Tony wasn't that old when we were playing with him. But yeah, it's weird, like you said, like guys you playing with, you're seeing them as coaches, as GMs, as like Tony, the head of the PA, and you're like, man, it all flew by really fast. And now everybody's at a different point in their life.
Some years in baseball as a player can age you for sure, but being
Yeah.
the head guy of the Players Union, man, I couldn't imagine
Yeah.
the amount of stress and everything he's going through. But
Yeah.
that's got to be nuts, man. I mean, I really can't picture like what that day to day is. You go from just like being in the cage and training to all of a sudden, all that stuff is insane to me.
You talked about, it's interesting, like the mentorship that you got from the older players when you were younger. Talk to us about when it shifted, when the guys who you mentored as you were the older player. Who are some of those players who you kind of took them under your wing?
Well, Joe Adele was one for sure. JoJo's the best, man.
Yes, I
And
love it.
Unbelievable pop.
Oh yeah,
like
stupid.
unreal pop, like crazy tools.
Tools off the
like
charts.
like crazy. Like when you look at like him just like from a training standpoint, like dude could play any sport.
Oh yeah.
He happened to choose baseball, which like let's be honest, you don't have to be the most athletic guy to play.
Why'd you look at me? when you
Case in
said
point.
that?
I didn't look at you, Moose.
You're staring right at my man right there.
I kind of went around the room, but when you watch him on a baseball field, like all the tools just jump out.
Yeah.
But JoJo, I love JoJo, great kid. When I went to Detroit, it was when I was really a veteran. I made it to free agency, and like I was still one of the younger guys.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at that team, like JD Martinez, Miggy Cabrera, Victor was like almost 40.
Yeah.
Victor
Bang.
Martinez, like I was still kind of a young guy, so I didn't have to really jump into the fray like that.
What was the difference in clubhouses between Arizona and then you go to a place full of superstars like Detroit?
Honestly, my first taste of it was that team in Atlanta was really good too. Like Ugla was still balling. Freddie Freeman and Jay Hay were like young studs. Like that was a fun clubhouse. Like when you have that kind of talent every day, it's insane. But we were still young. But like when I jumped to Detroit, like we were still a fun team, but there was a lot of business involved. Like you got a superstar like Miggy and Victor and those guys, they're getting pulled all different directions. Ian Kinsler was a stud, like veteran guy. He was getting pulled everywhere. So it was like a little more business stuff, but we still kind of made it fun. It was a fun team, and we weren't getting beat by these guys.
We never beat you guys. I would say 14 and 15. 14 we couldn't beat you guys, but you got over
I wasn't there. I was
late
there in
17,
16.
16.
Yeah.
Because 15, San Diego, we both had stops there.
Yep.
And then I want to talk about Kins after because that's where I play with him.
Yeah.
He's a legend, dude. But San Diego was kind of similar to, like you said, with the Braves. That was a veteran squad because that one year is when AJ just tried to get a bunch of signing guys, a bunch of traded for big league guys. What was that year like?
I enjoyed that year thoroughly, man. Like
Yeah.
Buddy Black was awesome.
You know
Buddy's the
Bud.
man.
Yeah, Buddy is unbelievable.
That's what I've heard. Great things about him.
Yeah, Buddy was awesome. We had a great mix. Like AJ went and got some young guys. We had, Will Myers, but we also went and got my brother, Craig Kimbrell. I feel like the whole team was new. Matt Kemp was there.
Yeah.
We brought Middlebrooks over. Like awesome squad.
Yeah.
I feel like they jumped the gun a little bit early. I think the Dodgers beat us in a series at home, took the lead in the division. I think we were back like 2 games or something like that, and then Buddy got fired. And I feel like, everybody loved Buddy so much that the play we just kind of went in the tank. And I feel like they jumped the gun a little early on that.
Yeah.
That was a fun team.
That was in 15 when you guys all got traded?
Yeah.
Same year.
Yeah. So
Man.
When and I got to play for Buddy for half a season. Dude, this guy is incredible. But when you take the leader of the team and everybody on the team loves this guy and just ship him out, you're just like, are we even trying anymore? Like,
Yeah.
And
That's
then
big, man. That's
What made him so good? Like what?
I mean, just for me, I think what we were talking about earlier is like the hierarchy. Like he's obviously the head of the clubhouse, and he treats the younger guys the way they're supposed to be treated, but he makes you feel welcome. And like, he's just got that presence about him where he's able to pull you aside, joke with you, mess around. Just a baseball guy, always around. He's one of the very few managers I've ever seen throw BP. Like, and he gets out there every day and throws BP. Like, he's one of the boys. He's in it with you. And it was just awesome to play for him for the short period of time I did, man. It was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you would think just hearing that story, I don't know if it was like this, but from the outside looking in, it's like if the boys, the player, or the team is, deflated when the manager gets fired, there's serious disconnect. You know what I mean? Like if the GM is firing that manager and the guys feel that kind of way, then that just alone tells you there's disconnect and there's no way you can win and compete like that.
I think the toughest part about when a manager that everyone loves gets fired is that next guy has no chance.
Zero.
He has zero chance because everybody's so upset that you traded or you fired somebody that they really like.
Yeah.
That the next guy that comes in, he can't win.
No.
So true.
And Pat Murphy was our guy. They brought in Pat Murphy. Murph. So they bring in Murph, who not a bad guy, not a bad manager, but he had zero shot in that clubhouse because everybody still wanted Buddy to be there. And I feel like teams have to do what they have to do. The front office has to do what they have to do.
And
but you gotta, there's gotta be a pulse. You gotta know what's going on in that clubhouse in order to make that decision.
Dude, Murph just won Manager of the Year. That's such a great point. Literally just won Manager of the Year his first year in Milwaukee, taking over. But he was there obviously as the bench coach.
Yeah, he was.
Because Counsell went through the same thing in Chicago, taking over for the Cubs. Month before, that was a different situation because his contract made him available.
Right.
But this is your division rival. These guys loved Rossi. I mean, they're all like, good dudes trying to do whatever they can to mesh with Counts. But like the reality of it is, that's hard to bounce back from, man. That's a great point. That Detroit team, man.
I have nightmares of that lineup still.
Oh man.
Like just banger after banger after banger, and I'm sitting there like, can we just not do this today? Like,
What was that lineup?
Alrighties,
What was that
dude.
lineup? Just for
I loved it because they were all right-handed. It's just a victory team. I was like,
especially
let's
when
go.
this guy came in, I know I'm getting 15 to 20 ground balls that day.
We
Like,
literally signed Pete because of that.
Yeah, I'd go 3 innings against Detroit. I haven't go 3 innings in 10 years, and I'm going 3 innings against Detroit.
When Detroit was coming up, it's like, Pete, whatever game we got before that, you're sitting these next 2 games.
You're pitching every day.
Don't
Every
even
day,
go
every day.
outside, okay? You got Detroit.
Every day.
Who was that lineup?
I think we started out like opening day. It was Kinsler, me, Miggy, Victor, JD, Castellanos.
That's
Jeez,
that's the
who am
one
I
that
missing
gives-
right now?
That's the one that gives me nightmares.
Yeah. Who was catching? Oh, McCann.
Yeah.
McCann was catching.
Another righty.
Yeah.
Maben was on that team.
Yeah.
Another righty.
Cam.
Killer
gosh.
Cam.
Killer Cam was out there, and then I feel like we're missing. Oh, and then Iglesias was our 9-hitter.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's who hitting 300.
That was my days.
Yeah.
I'm getting
And
14
then-
ground balls that day.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were all right-handed except for Victor.
Literally. Beautiful.
Loved it.
I'd
Loved
take
it.
Cleveland off and go straight into Detroit.
Oh man, dude.
Dude, that Cleveland team was,
Those guys, I mean,
they were so scrappy.
Yeah.
the Cleveland teams, yeah.
Our division was
I
gross.
would say, what a division.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Not to mention you guys had 8 Cy Young awards amongst your rotation, probably.
Keep going back to 14.
No. They did.
Why wouldn't they, though?
Yeah,
Who's on
our staff
We
was
cannot be able to.
Was
Oh my
DP there, or
God.
is he prior?
no DP was gone. It was Verlander,
Yeah, I mean,
Sanchez, Anibal Sanchez.
Oh, beauty.
He reestablished that cutter, dude.
Oh my God.
97-mile-an-hour cutter balls like this.
Yeah, he was nasty.
It's always so
we
funny,
have
dude.
the rest of that staff.
You didn't do this, but we would always give guys,
Zimmerman.
when guys talk about their high school team, they're like, my team in high school was so nasty. It was me. Okay, but you did that.
Our falling team was the best you've ever seen. It was like J-Up, me.
Yeah. Damn, waited to the 2 spot. I like it. But Kins, dude. So Kins, I mean, first of all, great teammate, great, competitor. I got to be with him in San Diego. Let's talk about that. And then as well, Warstick, everything he's got going on there.
Yeah.
Pretty badass. I mean, you got the pickleball paddles
I got
out here and
pickleball paddles,
everything.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
cool because he connected with Jack White out there in Detroit.
Yeah.
Or maybe knew him.
Jack
but
White, and then he's got another. Well, they have another partner in it too.
But you and Kins hit it off because I know you guys still hang out now, golf a lot. What a competitor, huh? As a player,
Dude, I mean, this tell you everything you need to know about him. Like, he's got a simulator in his house, and he sends me videos. This dude grinds at golf like he's like he's still in MLB.
Yeah.
Like, he practices just as hard at golf as he did at baseball.
I love that.
He's the greatest though.
perfected how to wear the pants up in baseball,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the baggy pants, the shorties. Kinsler had that look about him that was
And
iconic.
think about this. He like transcended time with that. Like,
Yeah.
it was like when he first came up, everybody was wearing baggy stuff. He had the super baggy short pants. And then like as his career went on, he kind of trimmed them up a little bit, you know? Like when everybody started going to the tighter pants, like
Yes.
he just nailed it.
Yeah.
He's, oh man, that foot down, dude.
Yeah.
I always admire guys, especially later on in my career, that hit with their foot down. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like early on, everyone always wanted a leg kick, but then just to be that simple, get the foot down, and just, I
Spin.
wanted
You
it
just
so bad.
step and spin, man. It's so quick inside. Couldn't get anything past
No.
him.
No, such a good at bat. Leadoff guy, just talk about setting the tone. Nobody set that tone better than Kins, I feel like.
No,
What's
because
everything?
you couldn't wait. Like
No.
if you like just, okay, I'm gonna get into the game and groove one in. The first pitch of the game was in left center, over the fence. It was crazy.
It was. And they traded Prince. Remember that was a crazy trade. Prince
Yeah.
went to Texas, he came there.
Yeah.
And I think everyone was like, damn, what the hell was that all about? But Kins, man, he made our lives nightmare as far as that leadoff spot. He would set the tone and we're like, shit. What's he got? Everything with Warstick. So that's his company, right? Him and Jack White and the other guy like you're mentioning. All wood bats, but now they got amateur stuff and all that.
Yeah, so they started out with like wood bats, and I feel like they had to shift to amateur stuff
Right.
because that's where all the sales are. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like everybody's using metal bats, so they've done really good with that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many guys they have in the MLB at this point. He had switched a bunch of guys when
He did, man.
He
Were you
switched-
using them towards the end?
Yeah, so I
Yeah, I feel
was
like you were
like
using them.
I was playing great with Rawlings. Like I was loving life, and then he brought me these bats, and I'm like, why not? You know, I
Yeah.
tried them out, and I switched, and the rest of my career I used them. But yeah, they're in everything now.
Yeah.
They're
How did that
literally
come
in
about?
Like
Was he talking
fishing.
to you before that happened? You said fishing?
Yeah, they do fishing rods. They
Wow.
do
Like fly fishing?
snowboards.
Yeah.
Like skate. They're doing all. It's awesome.
Did that randomly come about, or was he like telling you he had plans of starting a bat company before
So
he did it?
they were started. We were locker mates, and I'd always pick up his bats. You know how we do in the
Yeah.
club. Oh, this feels good today, or whatever. But he was just like, dude, just let us make you a couple, and you can try them out. And
Yeah.
I loved them. And I think the accessibility, like everybody that you deal with at Warstick, awesome people, and I felt that right away. So like anytime I need anything, I could just get on the phone. Like, you're going through a bad stretch, every ball's getting on your knuckles. And you break 5 bats in a 3-day series.
Yeah.
I could call and be like, hey, I'm struggling right now. Give me, I need 6 bats in a hurry. And
there right
like
away.
the service was great. So
Yeah.
I was like, one of the owners is right next to me in his locker, and the bats are great. I'm gonna use them.
Yeah.
That's big time.
That's
Yeah.
that's the thing too. Is like, depending on who you are in baseball as a hitter or as a player, some of the bigger companies aren't going to send you the best wood that they're going to send, and you get a smaller company like Warstick. They are just giving you great bats every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting the quality wood for sure.
I'm going to change gears just a little bit. All right. So 2008, opening day, opening night, ESPN game. I get in the game and I give up a home run to Ryan Zimmerman, a walk-off that ends up being their basically poster video for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
When you look back at your career, is there one at bat that you replay over and over again that you wish you could have a do-over?
Did I have a do-over? Like feel that feeling again?
No, just have the chance to try to drive a runner in, or like that whole game that knocked me on my ass for about 2 weeks. The loss of confidence that I got from just that one swing of the bat.
First game in the stadium, right?
First game in National Stadium, opening day. I'd come off a great year the year before. I was thinking I was going to be an established big leaguer, and then all of a sudden I come into a game where it's my first real chance to prove myself again in the new year, and I failed. Has there ever been any of those situations in your career where you wanted to redo?
Man.
And we can all answer that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a couple of at-bats
And
that you guys.
that's a big deal, because the significance of that is the MLB season, the way it opens up, there's opening night. There's one game that first night. It's
Everyone's
a brand new
watching.
stadium. The whole world is watching because everyone's fired up for the new season. So that's like, I feel like over the course of 162 games, you know, if it's primetime Yankees are coming to town, there's a little like speed bumps along the way that's like, this is a big spot. And that one, I think, right out of the gates is a huge moment. So I can see that one.
You
for
probably
you.
dealt with it all the way through, being 19, having all the pressure that you've already had. So for me, that was just the added pressure that I guess you guys have felt, being those super uber prospects, constant eyes on you. That just shook me for a good couple of weeks in my career.
Yeah.
I got one. When I was in Milwaukee facing the Dodgers in the postseason, I was the last out that sent the Dodgers to the World Series. Kershaw struck me out. But I mean, we're down 5-6 runs or whatever it was, so my at-bat didn't really make that much of a difference. But the entire offseason, I couldn't even watch baseball, but the entire offseason, I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I ended our season. I was the last out. Like, we couldn't get on base and not have this feeling for the rest of the year, but I think that might have been mine.
Oh, brutal. There's definitely one. It was 14, the year that you were not on the Tigers.
You established it.
Boom. It was first year at replay. We were in the World Series that year, Game 7. I hit a ball up the middle. Joe Panic, full dive, extension.
Oh, my
Catches
God.
it, glove flip, second, double play to first, and I hope you don't remember this about me, but of course I dove head first.
Yes.
First pitch, trying to beat it out.
Why did you do that?
I swear I got there faster.
Okay.
That's a whole nother discussion, but
We can do
calls me safe on the field.
Yeah.
First year replay, they overturn it. I'm out. Next inning, Billy Butler hit a double, leadoff double. So I'm like, dude, I think I would have scored on that one, but you never know how it plays out.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to go negative, guys. I apologize.
No, it's
No,
all right.
that's good.
We're digging deep, bud.
Vulnerable again.
Vulnerable, bro. Jeez. Again, you got to play with some incredible players, dude, like throughout your entire career. And then those last couple years in, Anaheim with Mikey and, Shohei and all those guys. Like, I got to experience that too, watching what these dudes do on a daily basis. It's pretty special, man.
Yeah. I don't think you can really appreciate Shohei unless you see it every day.
Yes.
Like, his routine is insane. Like, when he's doing both, when he's not hurt pitching, like, his day is crazy. And for him to be able to shoulder that load and be the best player in baseball I don't think we'll ever see it in our lifetime
I don't
again.
think so.
No.
Because to go into the field, be a pitcher for the first 3 hours where you're going through your shoulder stuff, then you go get your lift in or throw your bullpen, and then flip it, go have some lunch, and then go be a hitter
Yes.
Unbelievable.
later that night. Like, get your BP in, come in, prepare for the game, and then go out there and hit, have 4 at-bats. It's like, it's a full day every day, and he does it perfectly.
At the highest level.
At the highest of highs.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
not
it's way
nickname it.
better.
Like, he goes out there and he performs at the highest of highest levels every night.
Was he hitting off that little red machine when you were there?
Yeah.
How hard? So
Can you not hit it?
I can't touch that thing, first off.
Get that foot down, Moosey.
I saw him doing it. It's like this little red machine. It just shoots baseballs or little soft foam balls from.
And the foam ball, so if like you miss them,
Yeah.
like they just spin up.
Yeah.
You don't tear your hands up.
And
can't
he
touch
goes, like, he's just squaring this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And like to hit a foam ball 114 miles an hour, it's wild. Like,
Yeah.
it was insane watching
It's
that.
impressive.
The training has evolved so much, man, especially the hitting foam balls. These guys are training off breaking balls that are 120 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Really is crazy to see.
How much work are you doing with Curtis over at the Players Alliance? Are you doing any of that stuff over there?
I did early on, man. I got 4 kids now. I got 4 kids, dude. Like,
bro, you're not
I'm happy to get out of the house and play golf a couple times a week.
Me and you
you
both,
know?
buddy. Yeah. But that's a great organization.
It's a
that
great
they got going.
organization. Like, and at the very guts of it, like bringing, African American, Latin players all together, and trying to grow the game, and reaching out to different organizations where kids are playing and learning the game, and being able to have an impact on that, like, I think is huge for the future of the game. So I feel like the Players Alliance is doing great work.
Yeah.
You said something before about allowing someone to be their self, and that's what the beauty of baseball is, in my opinion, especially that clubhouse. It is, all walks of life, all in one room, speaking the same language, but ultimately is baseball at the end of the day. And we've had this discussion before, but in the minor leagues, it's like, sometimes, and my mother's from Cuba, and my dad is an American guy, I'm from America, white guy. I think the white guys were the hardest guys to open up in the clubhouse, because the Latin guys are coming from a different country. They always felt like they had to act a certain way. Their Latin guys are loud, man, flair, music. They want to have a good time. They all huddle up together. And I think sometimes from my experience, some of those, guys coming out of college, they were a little more, I guess, buttoned up, what you would call it. They didn't like it. They had a problem with it. And I think once, we got to the higher levels, and especially the big leagues, and we became those guys in the clubhouse, it was so cool because our clubhouses were always so united. We always had guys together. And I felt like, especially with the Latin guys, I almost felt like that bridge guy, because my mother was from Cuba. So I can relate to them a little bit. And once they found that out, it was like they welcomed me in, and I understood a lot of the things they were going through, because, coming here at such a young age, it's a different lifestyle. So I've always respected those guys when they would huddle up and do stuff together. But the teams that huddled up and did everything together like that with those guys, that was so special. And we had those groups in Kansas City. I loved it, man. I really
absolutely.
did.
One thing that I remember that opened my eyes to everything was, I'm a kid from Los Angeles. And this is my first full season. It's my first full season afterwards, so it's the off season. Dayton calls me and he says, "Hey, we're going to send you to Instructs, and the last week of Instructs, you're going to go to the Dominican with Patrick Norris, Derek Robinson, and Adrian Ortiz." All right. So we go to the Dominican, and we are staying in a hotel. And every single day we go to the Dominican League Instructs, and just seeing where these guys come from and like the hardships that they face, just driving down the road. I remember getting stopped by, a couple people saying, "Hey, this road's not paved. We're not going to let you go through because we need the city to pave the road." Just like everything, the dorms they were staying in, the houses they were staying in. And it just, coming back home from that, made me appreciate, and I always appreciated everybody, but made me appreciate what they went through more. And it gave me an understanding of how they acted, being in America, being in the States, because of what they went through. It was an accomplishment for them to get to here. And it literally opened my eyes. And I thought that was one of the best things that the Royals organization did for me and the younger players, was send us over there, give us a taste of why these guys are the way they are. And it helped you understand them on the other side of it.
That's such a good point. I just hearing, obviously I didn't play with any of you, and I only know you guys, you three obviously in particular, post-career. But just the way people talk about you, it sounds like you guys really wanted to get to know your teammates. Didn't matter where they were, it just doesn't matter their background, their skin color, their ethnicity, just so you can really tap in and build that connection so you guys could dominate on the field. And it's really cool to hear that. And there are some people who do not do that. And the more space you create between you and your teammates, you don't know the guy, it comes off like, I don't care about you, I don't care about your story, I don't care where you come from, and it makes it a lot more difficult to kind of be your best self in the clubhouse, I think.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask Pete too, because Atlanta, when you came up, that organization, it was kind of like the Yankees before just the shave rule, but Atlanta I felt like was very high standards, like a lot of rules, that organization?
A lot of guys like, Escobar came over and he was from Cuba and he was whistling and loud and it was an old school organization from the rules. You couldn't wear your sunglasses over your hat. You heard Dayton talk about the fact that I would have to wear sleeves over my tattoos, maybe take my nipple piercings out. So there was a lot of things that there was the Braves way, and a lot of those young Latin guys had trouble adjusting, and it took themselves out of the baseball game. They weren't able to be there loud, excited, just loved the baseball game. But it took it away from them, took some of their attitude, some of their abilities away from them. And I think that's what's also been a big adjustment in a lot of clubs now, is that they've realized that it's got to be everybody. You got to accept everybody.
You know what's funny about what you said, like everybody being able to be themselves with like all the rules and stuff. When we went to the Braves that first year, dude, that was the year that they traded. Well, my brother signed there. They traded for like they traded for me. Gerald Laird came in that clubhouse. Like we had a bunch of like misfits. So we show up the first day of spring training, and we're all in like Jordan shorts and like, you know, any kind of shorts, t-shirts and everything. And we all get dressed after the first day. And I forget who they sent, probably the traveling secretary comes over, and all of our lockers were together and they were like, hey, you guys aren't allowed to dress like that here. Like when you show up to spring training, it's like a polo shirt, you gotta have like khakis on or khaki shorts, like, and nice shoes. We all looked at him like, that's not gonna happen.
So training, dude.
No, we don't.
So we fought it, dude, and we fought it. And like, you could tell guys were so uncomfortable every day until we had that rule change. And then as soon as that happened, you guys, like we were a playoff team that year, like, but everybody just kind of came together. Like the Latin guys were able to dress with a little bit of flair, nothing crazy. Mm-hmm. Like they changed the rule a little bit, but like everybody started to be themselves, and like the team just kind of gelled. Like when we went somewhere, like the first thing everybody did, like we dress up on the plane, like, hey, everybody go get in your regular clothes, and then we're gonna go out, have a dinner or whatever. And like it became like a thing we all leaned on and like kind of came together around. It was like, you know, we're able to be ourselves a little bit, but hey, go change out of that and let's go have some dinner.
Yeah,
you
you pack your clothes in your bag so you don't have to wait for your suitcase, take your suit off, we're gone.
We're out, wait for the bags. That was the mission. Oh man, that was Laird, dude. I've heard so many good stories about him, catcher. I heard whenever the pitcher would throw like a shutout or just deal it, he would walk around with the ice his fingers. You go, my fingers were hot today. Oh, the fingers were hot today, huh?
He was a piece of work, dude. I can see him doing that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, fingers are feeling hot today.
Oh man, we played with his brother Brandon. Went on, had a great career in Japan. Still
Awesome,
might be
dude.
playing. Jay Up, man, this has been great, dude. We always like to end with a funny story, cool story, bad story. Any kind of story for you with your brother or any of the All-Star games? Real quick for me, I always remember the All-Star game, the one that I did make. I was the MVP, no big deal. If you're gonna make one, you might as well do it right. But I had a chance to. I hit a home run my first at bat, got to hit the second at bat, and for some up reason I was starting over Miggy. I think because the fans voted and they locked us in. But Miggy took notice and told Jim Leland, or I'm sorry, Ned, who was the manager, to hey, give Haas this third at bat. He's got a chance to win the MVP, and I did ended up going. But the fact that Miggy did that, he didn't get an at bat the All-Star game. I mean, that to me is like, I remember that moment over being the MVP. That was cool shit for me. So I'm sure you guys have that All-Star moment, but anything you sticks out?
I don't really have an All-Star moment, but like, when I look back at my career, like the one moment that pops out for me was in Atlanta in my first year. It was like, it might've been the first week and a half. I'm sure you guys have probably seen the video, but we're down in the ninth. Carlos Marmol comes in, and I had no thought of this happening. Like, Marmol comes in game, you think you're beat.
Yeah.
So my brother clips Marmol. I think that it might have been the lead off the inning, and ties the game up. And then I come up and hit the walk-off, dude, every time I think about it still, like I get chills. And it was just a regular season game, but for me and my brother to not go back to back, but to win that game, dude, that was like, I still get chills thinking about it.
I
Dude.
got chills right now thinking
It's
about
awesome.
Our hitting coach, Dale, one of our baseball idols, would always say there's no coincidences in this game. That's like just a meant to be moment right there.
Yeah.
Couldn't imagine playing at that level with your brother. That's, man.
You know how Atlanta is, like like you get a lot of fans, but like it was the Cubs, it was packed out, like it was electric, dude. They're doing the chop, like the whole bit, like the whole moment was set up, dude, and it was just awesome.